Are you ready to learn? Because my super experienced guests are ready to share some really valuable information. Make sure and listen all the way to the end to get help and support. So let's start with the best audio experience.
Hello guys, welcome to our show. Today we discuss about very hot topic. I think anyone can discuss about this topic. It's trend number one in marketing, in business. So today we are discussing about AI, and even more we are going to share a new research, and I'm excited to discuss this topic with Wilka Carvalho. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to learn more about AI. I remember a few years ago, many marketing experts, specialists told that AI can't beat many experts. Today, I see less specialists can tell this. Of course, AI is developing, and even today, I think AI is in the beginning of the journey. If I remember, like Google started to implement AI in 2015, like 7 years ago. It's not a lot. And today, all businesses can do AI. I mean, like Google started to implement rank brain. It's a algorithm that can choose which websites to rank in the top 10. So yeah, that was launched in 2015. Probably Google started to adopt AI earlier before that. Okay, Wilka, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to share with us about your research.
Yeah, my experience. So right now I am a PhD student at the University of Michigan, where I study deep reinforcement learning, which is basically like the deep learning, and I think both of those are pretty popular, so it's probably already well known. But feel free to ask questions if you don't know what that is. Um, and I'm also like a research scientist intern at DeepMind. But to be honest, like my training was in physics, and before I was doing AI, I was pursuing neuroscience. And after I finish my PhD, I will probably continue to pursue neuroscience because I'm personally interested in like human learning and generalization. But that, like many people, has brought me to AI because I think there's a lot of AI can learn from humans, and humans can learn from AI, or how to model humans can learn from AI research. So
Nice. I wanna ask one question that my mom wanna know, a lot. Is it possible scenario that we have in Terminator or Matrix about AI? Any insights about that? Just for my mom.
is that possible? Terminator is probably possible like in a few hundred or thousand years. I think who I would be more nervous about is like our governments.
Mhm.
The same way I'm skeptical of governments with nuclear weapons, I'm also skeptical of governments with like really powerful AI. Um, but in terms of like the AI itself being the cause for harm, I think I'm less. I'm not really worried about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not in our
I remember
lifetime.
when. Yeah, once I spoke with a few AI specialists. They work. Yeah, they're adapting new AI tools to big companies in Zurich and many other countries. And that was interesting. They told me, you can't imagine how AI is stupid. No, it doesn't mean that AI can replace
Like,
human being. AI, yeah, can help a lot, help, but they are not ready to think like a human. Okay, Wilka, uh, let's talk about your research. Can you tell about your research more and why you decided to analyze this topic?
yeah. So as a reminder, I'm interested in human learning and like how humans are able to adapt to new situations, right? So, for example, what country are you based in?
Right now, I'm in Florida,
You're in
US,
Florida.
but actually,
Okay, if you went to the UK, right, where you have to drive on the opposite side of the road, you might take a little bit of practice, but you can quickly adapt to that behavior, even though it's not what you're used to. And humans are really good at adapting the skills that they have to new settings. And so in my PhD, I was interested, or I am interested in, um, you know, how do we represent the world in a way that enables quickly adapting, and how do we quickly adapt? And so that's how I got into deep reinforcement learning, and I've been focusing on kind of like I think it's like the problem of this. Yeah, how do you like discover representations for the environment that enable adaptation?
Nice, nice. It's interesting. You mentioned about changing habits or learning how to drive, for example, in UK, if you have experience in US. And I had this experience in Thailand, because in Thailand it's the same like in UK. But many people showed me this one on the road. Yeah, it's not like just to switch to a new mode, and you can go ahead. It takes time, to remind that you need to be on
Yeah,
this side
it
of
doesn't
the
go
road.
enough time. Yeah, yeah. And so, how do we do that exactly?
Okay, can you tell how, most of my audience are business people. They're looking for ways how to adapt to new technologies, how to develop, innovate products. Some of them are looking for ways how to adapt AI with marketing. Can you tell uh, how to start learning more about AI? For example, if you do it from scratch, today I have a lot of people who
Yeah,
do it from scratch, including me, because I use some tools, but I can't tell that I'm advanced user with that.
yeah. I mean, it depends on what level of advancement you're looking for. But one thing, I actually have on my website, I have a link to ML-brain resources, and it's basically like a GitHub page which outlines you have the option of online courses, like textbooks that go from the initial math you would need from, like, let's say, an undergraduate, all the way to more advanced classes on machine learning, deep learning. And so I actually like I have a resource page that people could use, but also it depends on what level of complexity or like what level of technical depth. Um, like there's a senator in the United States who wants to learn AI, so he's enrolled in an undergraduate to do AI and to learn the math and do AI. So it's actually like it's good to know how it works. I think if you are looking for something less technical, I imagine that Andrew Ng's Coursera classes
Mhm.
be pretty good. Um, for reinforcement learning, in terms of something that's broadly accessible to a general audience, I don't know anything, to be honest. I would guess that Coursera has something, but yeah. But I really want to emphasize that it's good to have basic knowledge of the math because, or at least, or if not the math, like I highly, highly, highly recommend developing algorithms yourself, like replicating things, because because I see this in research, a lot of people have ideas that make no sense. They have ideas that are impossible because they don't really understand how it works. And so it really limits them in terms of thinking of things that they can actually do. So I really, really recommend some practical experience, even if it's like small amounts of like simple projects.
Okay, let's talk about practical experience. How to do it? What kind of tools do we need to use, and how to have this practice with specific projects? For example, if I have some projects, I'm going to adopt AI technology. So, any insights about that?
Yeah. So probably, I think I see one of two things you can do. Thing one is you see there's a textbook on machine learning or deep learning or whatever,
Mhm.
and you try to like replicate some of the results in that textbook, like a plot or something. And those are meant to be simpler, and so like you can do that probably like in a small Python script. Um, or you can do that with like a paper. For both of those, I think you can cold email people in the field and ask, hey, could you give me some advice on doing this? And, there's a 20% chance somebody will say yes and give you advice. And so if you ask enough people, I think you should be able to get advice and be able to do that yourself. But I think definitely just trying to replicate either a result in the textbook, which is meant to be simpler, or from a paper. And there's a lot of and there are a lot of like existing code bases. So the last point I'll make is, like there are a lot of existing code bases that have implementations for various, GPT, like who's the guy who ran Tesla? Anyways, the leader.
Elon Musk.
No, who the research lead who left.
I don't know.
Well, he has a very simple.
So Elon Musk fired him, yeah?
No, he left because he wanted to do something else.
Okay.
But he has a very simple code base for like GPT. It's called Nano GPT, and that's a great place to start to learn about how it works and to play around and change it. So yeah, those are the three things I recommend: summarizing it, replicate paper, replicate textbook, or work off of a simple code base on GitHub.
Yeah, because I found if you understand something, you can get much higher results. For example, you don't need to be an expert. For example, I can't write research about AI. Probably if I spend some time, I can write about marketing, SEO in my field. But about AI, of course, you need to have this knowledge, deep skills. Yeah. But if you understand, then results can come. Because, for example, it's the same why 90% of people can't lose weight. They can hire the best coach. The best coach can tell them the best program. But in the end, they need to eat healthy food. They need to train hard and have other exercises, to lose weight. So if you don't understand the basic, any coach, any expert can help you. So it's better to spend some time. Yeah. And can you tell what
can I give one more suggestion? So the last suggestion is, you want to learn a little bit about practical experience. If you're a business owner, hopefully you like have some money at your disposal. I would offer a knowledgeable PhD student or researcher somewhere. I would say, hey, I will pay you, $70 an hour or whatever, just for like an hour session. If you can just give me help and feedback, because 1 hour of feedback from a person who knows about this will save you like 20 hours. So it's worth it to spend that $100 or whatever. Advice I give.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, can you tell what AI can do today? Because we all know about ChatGPT that can write text for you. You can ask anything, and this tool usually writes. I check out, I analyze, and that's great. But of course, it's better to edit manually. This tool is not golden button when you click and you got everything. Of course, it takes time with editing, with providing something new, but you can have the frame, you can have some text that you need. So what about other features that AI can help businesses today? For example, to develop, innovate products or anything else about that?
How can AI help people build businesses today?
Update products.
What do you mean?
Update products. I mean, like develop, innovate products.
Well, this reminds me of an example. So I'll be honest with you. I am really much more on the research end of things. So I'm not very knowledgeable about that. I have one example in memory that I can give, but that's probably it. Mm-hmm. So I was watching a talk yesterday by Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. Mm-hmm. And a developer in India has leveraged ChatGPT to improve how people in India can submit forms for farming and business to the government. So basically, India has many languages, right? Like in India, there's like in the US, everyone speaks English, maybe Spanish. But India, there's like I think dozens of languages, but the government forms I think are in a subset of those languages. So a developer did further training on ChatGPT with all of the forms and like lots of like I guess cross-lingual thing between all the languages. And what this allows is a random farmer in India can then like set up forms, etc., in their native language and submit it to the government, which it makes business needs more accessible to like the whole population, not just the highly educated who know how to read those forms, etc. Even actually just filling out the forms, right? Like I can say like, oh, this is my information. Can you just fill out all the things that are needed in the form? So
Yeah,
that's one example.
I tested, for example, translation and compared results on Google Translate and ChatGPT. We translated English text to Ukrainian and Russian language because we understand these languages. So we analyze what we can fix. And, ChatGPT translates much better than Google
Really?
Translate.
That's
Yeah.
That's surprising. Okay.
It's interesting because Google Translate uses AI as well, according to Google. But ChatGPT, does much better. And I can feel that after Google Translate, we need to spend some time with editing because I feel like ChatGPT can understand the meaning, not only to translate words, quotes, sentences. And we can see that this tool can understand the meaning of the text.
Oh, the meaning? Is it dominion or the meaning?
For example, if I type on Google Translate, I fly to school. It doesn't mean that I'm using airplane to fly to school, but Google can translate like, I fly, But ChatGPT can write like, I run, I go, I drive, anything. So, amazing,
Yeah. So
okay. Wilka, let's talk more about your research. What kind of goals you had to do this research, and how this research can help you to go ahead, on learning about AI?
Yeah. So, what kind of goals? So, just to give you some context, I am probably going to be doing a postdoc after my PhD in a psychology department at Harvard. And so I'm really going to be leveraging what I've learned in AI to form theories for how the mind, for how humans like learn and adapt to new situations. And how can this help me? So a broadly known fact is that the brain uses reinforcement learning to learn behavior. There's actually a error called temporal difference learning, which is basically, you predict how much reward you're going to get in the future, and then you experience the reward you get, and then you use the difference of the experience and the prediction to learn, okay, like actually I did better or worse than expected, and use that to learn behavior. That's already been implicated in the brain in dopamine. Dopamine is actually computing this prediction, this temporal difference error. And so this is what powers modern deep reinforcement learning. And so like there's really exciting results on playing Atari using this, and etc. So I'm hoping to expand this line of work to understand, we make predictions about the future, right? And we observe the future, and then there's a difference. Like, what do we do predictions over, and that help us, adapt behavior.
I'm interested, how is accurate all these predictions? Let me share my story. Once I decided to get data from AI tools about stock price and about crypto price. And I even bought some stocks, and the prediction was good. The price should be going up, but that was dropped. So of course I don't put all eggs in one basket. just analyzed. Okay, I lost some money, but that was interesting that I got it. You can't rely to any predictions, including experts, including AI, because nobody knows exactly. But anyway, we need to understand how it's accurate. We predict just, of course, we have some the ratio between wrong and right. From your experience, how it's accurate to predict something with AI?
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me of like I'm thinking of context. I think, like for stocks, for example, like if you're just gonna use the history of the stock to predict the future of the stock, like that's probably not gonna work because there are all these like latent factors that are important. So these things we don't know
Yeah.
about or that are not in the signal that are important for that prediction. And so if you want, I mean, to be honest, like what Chat GPT does is probably more likely to work where you just, you want to, let's say you're predicting stock, this is going to be very hard, by the way. So whoever does this is going to be just like, it's so expensive to do this, but you really want to input as context political news, like social news. You want to, what are the patterns of the company? You have to put all this information as the context for the prediction of, individual stocks. And that's just like a really complex, that's a lot of data to have as context. But I think you need that. You need like the right context to get a good prediction.
Hmm. Yeah, I need to read how this tool works, AI tool. Probably it's not only about the past data, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I think I can. It depends. For example, of course, it's not 100% the right data, but probably I got like 1-2% of the wrong decisions. Okay, welcome. I have the question about the future of AI. I still get the question. What kind of future will be, because we are in the beginning of this journey. AI can replace many occupations, jobs today. And, I have some students in my network. They are asking what to do, what kind of occupations we can choose. Because if AI can replace us tomorrow, it takes like 5 years, to learn some subject. And who knows? So any insights about that?
That's a great question, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, this is something that I'm definitely nervous. I don't think that AI can replace humans right now, but I do think that in the next 5 or 10 years, AI is going to reduce the number of workers we need for a particular job, right? So, for example, if I am writing articles, before we would need, I don't know, 100 people to write to write articles for business, and I mean, let's say 100 people. But I think now, because you can edit more quickly and iterate more quickly, you might just need 10 people. Where AI sucks, like where AI is terrible, is anything that involves dexterous manipulation. So we're really good at like generating text, generating images, generating video. We're okay at that, but we're getting better. But where we completely suck is anything that involves like making things physical in the world. So I think all of those jobs are very safe.
Mhm.
And I think for a long, because we're not very close to that, to be honest. So, like ironically, I think people who, write newspaper articles will lose their jobs before plumbers.
Mhm.
So I don't, yeah. So basically, things that involve manipulation, like physical manipulation.
Okay, let's talk about writing more, because I think today AI can write great text, but I analyze, not only me, many other specialists, they check out, and we can feel like lack of new insights. It's like rewriting, of existing information.
That's
Of
what it
course,
is. Yeah.
AI can find data, rewrite it, and experts, what they need to do to add this data, new insights. Yeah, it takes time. But what do you think AI can develop in some time to add new insights, not only about rewriting. I mean, like to create something new that human being didn't create before.
Oh, I think we're nowhere near that, to be honest.
Yeah.
We are like AI is not capable of discovering new things. So I mean, for example, like only one civilization in all of history invented writing, right? Like inventing new things is really, really it's like it almost never happens. And the way that we do AI now, like all the AI that's really popular and famous in the news, it works by just copying and slightly changing massive amounts of human data. But we don't, like, in terms of discovering new skills, new tools, like all of that AI basically doesn't work. I mean, it does work, but it's really research. Like it's, we're at a conference and it's like a small setting and we really don't know how to invent new things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I agree. I think AI can replace mediocre writers who don't want to spend time with research.
But that's most right. I mean, I hate to say it, but if even before AI, a lot of the like shows we see on Netflix, like it's it's not the highest quality. And so I think now you're just going to need less people to produce the same amount of content. But that's a lot of the workforce is doing that. So
Yeah, yeah, agree. Love it, love it. Okay, I have the question about mistakes. Can you list common mistakes that people still do by adopting AI technologies, and any insights how to find a much better way?
common mistakes.
Yeah, any mistakes? Okay, let's imagine they adopt data from your research. What kind of mistakes they can do by adapting data?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have a good answer. I think the only thing that I would guess is that people overestimate how well AI is going to generalize outside of the data that it was used to train on. And I would guess that you see the big fancy results by OpenAI or DeepMind, and you see how it generalizes and you're like, wow, this is so powerful. But they spent like $100 million to train that model, and then you spend, I don't know, $30,000 to train your model with a lot less data. It's much smaller, and it's just not gonna work the same way. And so I would guess that people probably overestimate how well AI
Mhm,
can generalize.
yeah. Okay. I want to ask some questions. Of course, it depends, but I still get this question. What do you think? Chat GPT, because Bing is going to adapt Chat GPT to the search results on Bing,
That's
and
interesting.
someone claimed that it's a Google killer, yeah, but
It's
CEO
really
of
useful. It's very I like it. Yeah, no, it's very, I mean, killer, I don't know, but it's yeah. So sorry, go on.
yeah, it's really hard to kill this big company that have a lot of specialists on this field, who have experience. Even CEO of ChatGPT replied to this question. You think it's possible to overcome Google with all these resources, smart people on this team? No, we can just take some part of the trade, but not to overcome Google. What do you think? If we are talking about search results, can people change habits, to ask chat,
Yes,
ChatGPT or any others?
yes,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, because
And,
I mean, I think
mhm.
the thing is, it's like if it was shifting from Google to like DuckDuckGo or Bing, I think probably no. But I think the difference for ChatGPT is that, or for this kind of conversational agent, is it's a dialogue. So with Google, I look up something and I get a list, and I have to like look through the list and see what's going on. But I'm a
Yeah.
human, and humans, like, what, like, there are thousands of years of evolution have led me to really feel natural talking to a person. And so with ChatGPT, it's actually shifting to a conversation, which I think is going to be easier and more enjoyable for people. So I actually think that the it's not going to be changing habits. It's going to be just like finding a more enjoyable way to get answers for the things you're looking for, which is going to be more rewarding and I think lead to high adoption.
Yeah, got it. Okay, I have the final question about, once Bill Gates replied to the question, what to learn today? For example, if students want to learn, and he told AI. Yeah, if he started from scratch, he probably learned AI. So let's imagine you have no experience, no skills, anything. You started from scratch. How would you learn AI today?
Honestly, and this is the mistake I made, and I'm paying the consequences. But I think if you want to learn AI today, I would definitely make sure to have my foundations be good, which are going to be probability, statistics, linear algebra, and optimization. Like those are just so important. I cannot stress that enough. Um, and that's just four courses. That's just four courses, but those four courses. Oh, and calculus. Um, so I would say do that. Like make sure you do those. One thing though, like it's 2023. I think a lot of schools are starting data science or AI majors, and so I think that will actually be a good route because like traditionally you'd have to do computer science, and most of computer science is kind of like not that related to this part of AI. So I think now you don't have to, you can actually just focus on this part, which is like more math, to be honest. Um, but yeah, I would definitely just make sure your foundations are good, is my suggestion.
Nice, nice, awesome. Vilka, it's a big pleasure to get on my show, to learn from you. I love your insights because it's valuable even for me. I am pretty sure that my audience will love it as well.
Yeah.
So tell the best way how to reach out to you, how to learn more about you, how to follow
Yeah,
you.
definitely. Actually, I'm gonna just make a quick change. Learn
Yeah.
math foundations. If you like care less about the math, I think you can get a lot through coding. So either do that or learn to code and pick a language like Python and learn to make projects and be a good coder.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can you get to know me? I'm on Twitter and I'm on my Twitter is Cogsci Kid, COGSCIKID. That's this. My website is also that. So Twitter, I think, is a great way to like contact me or get to know me. And you can also look at my website. My website also has resources for learning machine learning. So I recommend that. I used a lot of those myself because I was a physics undergrad, so I had to teach myself a lot of stuff. But yeah, so just Twitter, Cogsci Kid.
Okay, guys, you can find the link to Twitter, to website in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again for your time. A big pleasure. I love all your insights. It's valuable. It's a different angle of that I've learned before, and I like it. Thanks, guys, for listening us. It's a big pleasure. So you can follow Wilka. You can ask him all questions on Twitter. Open his website, and see you next time.